going to say this. Everybody's told me that's the greatest inauguration speech in the last 50 years. He's going to write that sort of thing because he is. I think he's off the. I seriously believe he's off the reservation. I didn't realize this either. Did you know he's the oldest president? Incoming. He's older than Ronald Reagan.
Yeah,
coming in.
He doesn't drink, so he's got.
Yes, you told me that. I was shocked. I didn't realize he didn't drink.
Yeah,
maybe that's his problem, actually.
Yeah,
I mean,
I never trust anyone who doesn't drink.
I mean, yeah, you can't trust someone who doesn't drink. That's obviously a serious problem. So he's coming in with the lowest approval ratings, and Obama's going out with a 60% approval rating. So he's obviously did a lot of good. I know you disagree, but he did a lot of good. I know you don't like some of the stuff he's done at the end here. Yeah. In particular, some of the pardons that he gave out, but I disagree with you on that too.
Yeah,
everybody does it. Why were you so upset about that?
I just think I think he's done it to the extent that it's far beyond any other president, and he's doing things that I just are I think pandering. I think pardoning Manning, who I think did things against the country and in a military perspective. And I just don't like that. I think it's wrong. The precedent set there. I think that was pandering to the LGBT community. Not that I have nothing against that community, but there's no, on that particular pardon, there's nothing I see as a normal thing. I can see some of the drug pardoning and saying, hey, I don't think drug users are small time people who got involved in drugs, and you have that perspective. They didn't do violence. I'm pardoning that group. You have a perspective. I get that. I don't get some of those other ones. But everyone's done pardons, and you're right there, and everyone's done favor pardons, if you will call it that.
Yeah, but you do realize, of course, that he was, he was sentenced to 35 years. Yeah. And the average term for something that he did was 3 to 5 years. So I think that's one of the main reasons. But the irony, of course, is that it was Obama's own Justice Department that sought to get that.
But the hard thing when you say facts like this is hard on everyone. So I'm not just disputing and arguing with you. Is when people say the average for that crime was 3 to 5 years, I bet we could bring experts on both sides that could give different numbers there and different perspectives. And there's no way any one of us can be up to speed on all the nuances of these things. So I can't argue that. My sense is that 35 years was because of the severity of what they did. I don't think anyone has an agenda to magically pick this person out different than others. But I don't know enough to say you're wrong or right on that. I know what the sentence was, and I believe I understand what the crime was. And I don't agree with being able to ruin this country and put people in danger.
So do you think Trump's going to do a good job or not? We're cutting close, man. I know you've given him 90 days. Do you think what do you think? What do you think of his nominees so far? By the way,
I'm not as against him as most people that are vocal. But his bar is like an inch off the ground, so it's not going to be hard to raise his bar from people's expectations. So, I think he'll do better than expectations. But again, we're starting an inch off the ground.
Yeah, I know it's going to be scary stuff. I think we should all drink heavily during this time because that will really help numb the pain.
An interesting strategy might be to buy alcohol stocks.
Yes, exactly. What else? Alcohol stocks, not cigarette, not tobacco, but certainly alcohol. You're right.
Move to a state that's approved cannabis.
Yes. Yeah, Colorado.
I think
the house prices might go up there. Yeah.
Florida's gotten medicinal now where I am.
Is that right?
Yeah.
You can go to like a weed shop and get, as long as you have a special card or something?
I think they're working through the kinks of actually how it's going to happen, but it was approved.
Maybe that's what that huge alligator I saw was trying to get to when everybody was photographing him down in your neck of the woods in Florida. Do you see that? You must have seen that video of this huge alligator.
I did see the alligator. I didn't actually watch the video, but I saw it. So again, I'm so jaded on the internet and stuff. I don't even believe these things anymore because so many things are faked up, and I'm jaded on it.
But you've lived. I do know this for a fact because when I first met you, you had a house on a lake in Florida, and there were alligators in the lake, weren't there?
Of course there were.
And you made sure that no little dogs got close to the edge or whatever, right? Or little children, because
you can't stop people, but yeah, it's dangerous.
No, I mean on your property. I meant you didn't. You wouldn't. You tried to stop them from if you had little kids over there, or whatever, right? Because it was pets.
I actually encouraged the kids to get in the water.
That's right. Check it out. You know, let's see how safe it is. But yeah, you're the one that told me there were alligators in that lake, right?
Absolutely. There's alligators in just starting point alligators in every lake in Florida. If you think there's not, you're kidding yourself.
Really?
But most of they don't bug humans. I mean, predators in the wild kingdom, they know if they have a tough fight to get their food, there's a chance they're going to get injured, and that's a death sentence for a predator. They like easy stuff. So I think in the last century in Florida, there's like, I don't know, 10 or 20 deaths.
Yeah.
It is that they run away. They don't want to. They go after carcasses and small fish and small.
Now you see them on golf courses occasionally. And of course, we all know you're a great golfer and you play lots of golf. Have you ever seen one on a golf course in Florida?
I bet I've seen 100 on a golf
Really?
course. Oh, they're everywhere.
Wow. Yeah. Because let's face it, there are hundreds of millions of year olds. They know how to survive.
They're a beautiful killing machine.
They are. Yeah, maybe. I was going to say I was going to make a bad joke about Donald Trump, but I won't do that now. Actually, we'll see. It's his hair. It just gets me every time.
He's got the whole package.
He does have the whole package. You called him a reality television president.
We're into reality presidency.
So do you think he's going to stick to his script we're going to be surprised. He's going to stick to his script during the speech.
Yep.
But then he'll probably go a bit nuts on Twitter afterwards. Let's see how that goes, right? He's going to get going.
I think that's probably a pretty good likelihood of everything you said. I think he's actually going to do better than good on the speech. I really think he's going to be on incredible behavior. I think this is one of the things that he's actually going to prepare for and be ready for. I think he's actually going to do an exceptional job in the speech, but I think within a day or two or even that night he'll be back to himself.
Oh, you know what he's going to do? He's going to be laying in bed in the White House going, God, I've got to change that wallpaper. And when can I get my decorator in?
I think what might be fun is actually watching the expressions of President Obama and Michelle and other attendees as he's doing stuff.
Oh yeah,
I gotta believe they're gonna have to take medication before they go there.
Oh my God, they gotta be on drugs. Hey, listen, they don't have to go, so good for them. I mean, Obama does, but the Clintons don't. Good for them for going. I do take my hat off to them for doing that, but. You can imagine a tweet from Donald Trump at 3 a.m. Hey, my first night in the White House. Yeah. And it's great, guys. Thank you for putting me here. Yeah. Oh man, could you imagine? It's going to be.
Yeah. Oh. It's something like even the Clintons felt they had to attend.
Exactly. It was such a momentous occasion. Even the Clintons had to attend.
Exactly. He's such a narcissist. It's so funny.
It is actually depressing. Well, listen, I know it's late where you are, and I know you've got a real job now, for the first time in a long time. So does that mean you have to actually be in the office at 9 o'clock, or what? When do you show up? Lunchtime? When do you have to get there?
I'm an early guy. That doesn't bother me. I'm actually in the office usually by 8 or before, but that's the bad part is just staying and not having the freedom to go when I want, and someone actually looking for me.
Yeah. Well, yes, because your wife, right? She misses you, right? Now, does she miss you when you're gone? I mean, how does that work? I mean, you're traveling now for a bit. How does that work out?
I have the best wife in the world, but there's some irony that the only time that she's excited to see me is when I'm out of town.
Well, how does that work? Oh, she says she misses you, that sort of thing.
Oh, I wish you were here tonight. Would be incredible. And then I'll be home tomorrow, and I get home. Oh, jeez, that moment passed. But it's nice
So the further away you are, the more amorous she gets, maybe, or the longer, whatever, right?
I would say that's a fairly accurate statement.
But then somehow it all magically disappears when you arrive home.
Exactly.
Well, you know what? As long as you keep bringing home the bacon, that's what counts. Pay for everything. That's really good. I feel the same way sometimes. I have to buy my son a car. So
I've been through that. I buy my son multiple cars after he wrecked.
I was about to say, I seem to recall he wrecked one once by somehow miraculously steering it into a curb and buckling two wheels or something. I do remember that story.
That is a great memory, Max. It's unbelievable. He actually got in a one-car crash that wasn't his fault.
Well, I tell you, actually, I'm going to a little story here. So this people won't know what I'm talking about here, but my cousin Neil, you remember Neil?
Yeah.
I've spoken about him before. His son drove home. This was in the UK. Drove home drunk. So Neil was actually out of town. Drove home drunk in the car. Hit like one of those islands in the middle of the road that has the stay left, stay right signs on it. Managed to drive the car home, and they never told Neil. Neil's wife, and the son, who was probably in his 20s, never told the dad that this had happened because they didn't. The idea was they would get it fixed before Neil actually found out about it. What they didn't realize was, so Neil, they were out. So now Neil needs a car. So he gets in the car. I'm not making any of this up. This is the funniest thing. He gets in the car. Somehow this kid had managed to break all four wheels. It was Neil said it's literally at a Laurel and Hardy. He says, I put the car in reverse and the wheels fell off. And he was like, and he said, what the hell? He said, I don't even know how my son, now from the time he hit the concrete medium to the house was only like 200 yards, but somehow the kid got it home. But when Neil tried to drive it like 10 feet, the wheels fell off. I think putting it in reverse, maybe. I was like, could you imagine? And it's like, what the hell just happened?
His son ran out and said, Dad, you broke this.
Exactly. What did you do? I need it. I'm not making that up, man. It's a true story. It's just like, you can just imagine it. All right. Hey, listen. Right, thank you very much. Hey, listen. Thank you to our one fan. We appreciate it. The two idiots are signing off. Thanks a lot, Mike. See you soon.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Take care. Bye, Max.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Max and Mike. Tune in next time for more insights, opinions, and tales of drinking right here on the Max and Mike podcast.